Mason Greenwood to Atalanta, and Hojlund is crossing from Atalanta to Manchester United. This is happiness to United fans all over the world because it looks like a decision has been taken by the board of Man United to that they really loan Mason Greenwood to the Atalanta side, and it looks like they've gone ahead to obviously do the needful and obviously get this over the line. Smash the like button, comment and share. If you're only watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. I go by the names of Rock and David and continue to do the needful and obviously smash this like button and continue to subscribe, because if you just hit 14,000 subscribers and you want to hit how many subscribers? We want to hit 15,000 subscribers before the end of this month. And let's continue pushing, because the more we push, the more we get the best out of this channel. Now, we are also talking about Edwin van der Sar. News coming in from Ajax. He has been rushed to hospital because of what we call bleeding in his brain, and obviously he is in the intensive care unit. Sad story. And lastly, we're going to discuss Diallo. Obviously, a team that was relegated is pursuing to go ahead and obviously getting him on loan than that side in the championship. So guys, smash the like button, as I've told you, close to 300 times, and don't forget to subscribe so that we really get to where we want to be. Let's start it on a sad note before I go into the exciting note of Rasmus Hojlund and Mason Greenwood. We've been told by Mark Viwage that Edwin van der Sar has been transported to a hospital by helicopter in the afternoon after he suffered cerebral hemorrhage. He remains there in intensive care unit. Now, this is Mark Viwage, a journalist for The Telegraph, and after him putting out this story, obviously the Ajax team came out and obviously posted onto their website that on Friday, Edwin van der Sar has had a bleeding around his brain. He's currently in hospital in the intensive care unit and is in a stable condition. Once there is more concrete information, an update will follow. Thoughts with Edwin van der Sar. Now, Edwin van der Sar came in at Man United in 2006, if I'm not mistaken. He was at United for 6 seasons and he played very well. You know, we had been lacking stability in the goalkeeping department at Man United, because after the World Cup of 1998, Ferguson signed Fabian Barthez. You know, Fabian Barthez failed to catch up into the Premier League. Most remarkably, and most remember about him were those 2 goals we considered against Arsenal, and he gifted the Premier League to Arsenal. Remember, they won it at Old Trafford. I think was it 2001. That really caused a lot of havoc into the goalkeeping department. And what Ferguson did was to get another goalkeeper known as Tim Howard. Tim Howard came in through. He failed to obviously meet the potential. And there was Carroll, there was Quizak, and then he brought in Edwin van der Sar, and that created stability into the goalkeeping department of United. And he was here until the finale that saw him being exposed by Lionel Messi scoring twice against United at Wembley in the Champions League finale, as also Alexis Sanchez, who used to play for Barcelona by then, also came in through and went in for Fekala that went into the top left corner. And Edwin van der Sar hung up his gloves and said, "I'm quitting football." Amid his Ferguson leaning to him and telling him, "Please stay here." He pleaded to him, but he said, "No, I promised my wife that at the age of, was it 41 years of age, I'm going to quit football and go to start staying with him in Netherlands." And he has been there doing the job of the CEO at Ajax. He resigned recently, and today he gets this very bad attack in the brain, bleeding, and he is obviously going to find himself in a situation of being an intensive care unit for some days to see that he stabilizes. Our prayers are with him. And how does it affect us? Some of us thought that maybe he would have been considered as one of the ex-United legends to come in through and obviously be part of the management team of Man United, especially as a CEO, as he was doing the job with Erik ten Hag, and maybe a reunion was so much anticipated under Sheikh Jassim Al Thani, as is going to hate to indicate that he wants to get in ex-players of the club to come in and do the job. So That's a big blow to United, but we pray to it that the Almighty Lord puts his hand onto him to see to it that he overcomes that hemorrhage that has caused what we call bleeding in his brain. So, our hearts and prayers with the former United legend. Now, let's get into the big story of the day. Who broke the story? It was the Atalanta Auto. Came out and confirmed to us that both Atalanta and Juventus are interested in signing Mason Greenwood, and among us all these teams, Atalanta was not part of it, and Juventus has always shown interest. And the moment I saw it that Atalanta is interested in Mason Greenwood, what came in my mind? A loan to activate the deal of Rasmus Hojlund. To be factual, Greenwood at 20, he was better than Rasmus Hojlund at 20. Rasmus Hojlund can only afforded, are they 10 goals a season at the age of 20, but Greenwood at the age of 17 managed to pump in 17 goals a season. That is Mason Greenwood for you, meaning that he's a different kind of player. And Atalanta will welcome this deal. And even today, we've gotten stories coming in from Samuel Lucas indicating that United have decided to loan Mason Greenwood as Erik ten Hag is reluctant to sell the forward. Greenwood is contracted to United until 2025, and the club have the option of an additional year, meaning that 3 years are still running onto the contract of Mason Greenwood, and the club of Man United has gone ahead to decide to loan him. Now, when that loan news really flew in, I got to know that where is he going to be loaned? Now, this is what really happened at the Samuel Lucas Twitter. He said, Manchester United have discussed loaning Mason Greenwood to Atalanta, who are interested. Roma manager Jose Mourinho is not interested in signing Mason Greenwood. Amidst links of Mason Greenwood to AS Roma, looks like AS Roma is not interested, and obviously the only teams interested are Juventus, Inter Milan, AC Milan, and Atalanta. I'm talking about Italian Serie A teams, but even in Spain, there are teams, French League One, there are teams, Eredivisie, Turkey, there are very many teams interested in signing Mason Greenwood. But as it stands, it looks like Atalanta is one of those teams that have gone ahead to win the race. Do you know why they're winning the race? Obviously, United has what Atalanta wants, and Atalanta has what United wants. So that is Mason Greenwood that Atalanta wants, and obviously Rasmus Hojlund that United want from Atalanta. So this makes the business easy. And Samuel Lucas told us that John Mata has held extensive talks with Atalanta officials and has discussed the possible deal to sign Rasmus Hojlund and loan Mason Greenwood to them. Have you heard? So that shows you that maybe the return of Mason Greenwood is going to obviously help us so to it that we can get this deal over the line, and obviously try to use that as a catalyst for this deal, as he might be used as a make weight, but temporarily, because United aren't willing to sell the player. They are not willing to sell the player, but it looks like everything is going towards where Mason Mount wants it to go, and Atalanta is really having a very good coach that can really take him to the next level. And the main reason as to why they're really loaning the player is simple. Mason Greenwood is a very good player that even if you don't want to keep him at Man United, you'll get less than what you would have gotten from him if at all you sell him now. He has been not playing active football for close to 1.5 years. He last kicked a ball in the last week of 2022 January. And now, it's close to 18 months, he's not playing competitive football, meaning that you need to take him to Atalanta as soon as possible. Then, after that, he takes part in the preseason of Atalanta. Then, he hits the ground running the Serie A at the beginning of the season. That is Mason Greenwood for you. So, that is good business for Manchester United. And even if they don't want to get him back at Man United to put on the shirt of United, they can get close to £50 million or 60 out of Mason Greenwood, because I'm 100% sure he's a player you can put your hand for to score 20-30 goals in Serie A. That is it. He's going to be so much focused because he knows that football's going to have to give him a second chance after what he did to his girlfriend. So he's going to utilize this. He has grown. Ten Hag is going to be talking to him on a daily to see that his mind gets where he wants it. As Ten Hag sees him as one of the deadly weapons he might really deploy at Man United maybe next season, maybe after next season of 2023-2024. So that's good execution by Man United, and that's why we saw to it that Mason Greenwood is putting his house on sale, because he knows that, he's renting his house because he knows he's going to be out of Manchester. I think he knew it before the club briefed him. His entourage was briefed, and he was told, you are going to play for Atalanta and you're going there on loan, and we are going to use that to get it to see to it that Hojlund comes to Man United. So that is something good for Manchester United, good business, that we are not losing the player in the names of Mason Mount, and you are giving them a player who is going to lead their line to produce more than even what Rasmus Hojlund is going to have to really produce, because trust me, Greenwood is more talented than Hojlund, because Greenwood came onto the scene and moreover playing in the Premier League at the age of 17 and was ticking all boxes. Rasmus Hojlund was nowhere to be seen, though he has gone ahead to come in through at the club of Atalanta and his national team to fire in goals, Rasmus Hojlund. So let's wait and see how that happens, because even today it has been reported by Atalanta that Mason Greenwood has reached an agreement with Atalanta. He will be in Bemago on Tuesday. He has said no to Juventus to join Atalanta. So Greenwood has reached an agreement with Atalanta, and that shows you that our deal with Rasmus Hojlund might be executed next week. That is it. It's going to be executed next week, because if it's Mason Greenwood going to Bemago on Tuesday, obviously that means he's going to undergo a medical. After undergoing a medical, he's going to be unveiled as an Atalanta player, and obviously that means there is an agreement that we've not yet heard of between United and Atalanta, that we are valuing the loan of Mason Greenwood at around maybe £8 million, right? Long season loan, and you are paying half of the salary. We are paying half of the salary and we are giving you Greenwood and a long season loan as you're looking for replacement for Rasmus Hojlund, and you're going to get us Rasmus Hojlund. Maybe we're going to give you £50 million as you want, because United really values the player at that much. You get, and £50 million equates to 60 million euros. Not so? So that is it, and I think it will be good business if United does it that way. What a way to execute that deal of Mason Greenwood and Rasmus Hojlund. Lastly, another championship team is interested into Amad Diallo, and guess what this Champions League team is? Southampton have made contact with Man United about the possibility of loaning Amad Diallo for next season. And I always laugh when I hear that there is a championship that is in need of Amad Diallo. That is really out, because Amad played one season in the championship, and I think he has gone ahead to elevate his interests to very many Premier League teams. Burnley, Everton, what is the third one? Burnley, Everton, is it West Ham? We're having 30 teams in the Premier League that are interested into Amad Diallo, and I think it will be very weird to see to it that Amad Diallo is being loaned back to the championship, yet there are Premier League teams that are interested in him. And that's why I really went ahead to blame Darren Fletcher and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for loaning him to Rangers, yet Crystal Palace was interested in signing the player. And that was really stupid, because you signed him expensively from Atalanta, £35-40 million at the age of 18, and you wanted him to play in the Premier League because you're a Premier League playing team. A Premier League team showed interest in him before they brought in Olise at Crystal Palace, and you'd say no. You rebuffed that, and you went in for a different league, that is the Scottish League. So that was bad. That was bad, and that is the poorest decision I've ever seen United loaning department make. But this time around, when Ten Hag came in through, he loaned him to the championship and saw him really extend to where he is right now, that even Ten Hag wants to keep him at the club of Man United, and I think he's going to stay. Why? Very many homegrown players are leaving the club of Man United this season. Igbo has went to Utrecht, Ethan Laird has gone, Elanga is leaving, Scott McTominay is on the way, Brandon Williams is leaving, there is Harry Maguire. So those are close to 6 homegrown players. When you add on Dean Henderson, those are 7 homegrown players that the club of United is going to lose. So if I told you you're going to lose all those players, that means you have to keep some players who are really homegrown. And he's going to prove to Erik ten Hag. People are really so much doubtful about this, but he's going to go ahead and obviously prove to Erik ten Hag that I'm the right man to play against or to compete with Anthony on the right attacking side of the midfield. So let's wait and see how that pans out, but I don't see him being loaned to the Championship. If at all he doesn't convince Erik ten Hag in the preseason, I really understand that he's going to be played. He's going to be loaned into the Premier League teams because interest is really genuine and really high. So his first test is going to be against Leeds next week on Wednesday. It's going to be the 12th. That's when you're going to see him tussling it out with the likes of Leeds. So that is what I had for you. Smash the like button, comment and share, and tell me your thoughts about Greenwood to Atalanta on loan, Rasmus Hojlund to United. That's a swap deal that is going to be involving money. Greenwood going to a loan and Hojlund staying or coming at Man United. What do you make about Edwin van der Sar? Keep him in your prayers. And lastly, would you loan Diallo back to the Championship? Yes or no? I sign out for now. See you later, my mates.